there friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Marie and this is Weaving Fate Tarot and Divination. So for today, today is day 12 of the 30-day challenge that I've set out for myself, 30-day reading challenge. I felt quite a bit of, yesterday was ancestor energy. Today it's like animal. There's a lot of animal energy coming through. I'm not sure why. That hasn't been revealed to me yet, but let's go ahead. I think we'll do just a general collective reading today. This doesn't feel like it's going to be a pick a card, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay. And this crystal really wanted to come out today, and it felt like, to me, I'm hearing like it's an egg. Like it feels like something is germinating, like a seed. Something is growing. Yeah. Anyway, that's what came through. It felt like it just made me think of an egg. And I'm hearing cosmic egg, but let's see where this reading takes us. All right. Spirit, can we get a message today for the collective, for those watching this reading, for those that have found their way here? What message do you have today? And I'm being called to pull a charm first. All right. What message do you have for us today? And I have a spinning wheel, a spindle. This is going to mean different things to different people. This message is going to be a little different for different people. For some of you, it feels like you're kind of just been spinning your wheels. You're not sure where you're going. For others of you, this is like you've been weaving. That's what I'm hearing. You've been working on weaving your fate. Some of you have been quite active, but for both of you, it feels, for both groups, it feels like you're wondering about timing. You're wondering when things are going to come to fruition. Whether what you're working on is what you should be working on, whether you're on the right path. That's what I'm getting right off the bat. And so we see metamorphosis. And yeah, it feels like, this feels like you're in the cocoon, you're in the transition phase for those watching this reading today. And I think that this might be a painful transition for some of you, because it's not easy to get from I can't imagine it's not painful going from being a caterpillar into a butterfly. I need one more card. We also have action leads to success. Okay, so yeah, these are, some of you are already, you know, acting on your intuition and the messages you've been getting from spirit, and you're here in this, about to go through this metamorphosis into the butterfly. For others of you that feel like you're spinning your wheels, spirit is saying, are you spinning your wheels in your head, or are you actually doing things on the ground? Meaning, you know, like in the 3D world, are you actually doing things in your external world to help you get to that point? An example is, say you want to start a YouTube channel and you want to have that be like one of your side hustles. Are you actually making the videos and getting them out there? Or are you still just thinking about it, or maybe doing checklists and planning, like, I'm gonna do this on this day. You know, let's use me as an example. I'm gonna do this reading on this day, and then this day, and then this day, and then I'm gonna get it out, and you know, but are you actually getting to the point of making the videos, editing, and getting them up on YouTube? You know, that's kind of been something, a little journey that I've been through myself. fully understand. But you know, sometimes we get like the hard talk from spirit, and they're like, are you wondering why you're not successful, but you're not actually doing the things to get you to the point that you consider to be success. And then for others of you, you are doing it, right? And it's just taking a little bit of time, and there is divine timing in this for some of you. And so let's see if we can get some timing. Let's see if we can get something out of that. And then I'm being called to numbers 3, 4, 1. I think some of you just started on this path at the start of July. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, let's see what else we can get. I'm hearing 6 months. 6 months to 6 month countdown. 6 months to take off. Six months. 6 months. All right, let's see what else we got here. So, mutable, versatility, flexibility, adaptability, and that's what you're being asked, these energies, to embody these energies of being mutable, of going with the flow, of being able to be flexible or adapt to different ideas or different ways of doing things, different ways of being. And we have Cancer, nurturing, sensitive, caring. And for some of you, I think that your road to success, you've perhaps, in pursuing an ideal of how you see other people are, like maybe, well, they're very professional. To be professional, I have to be a certain way. Maybe not. I need to not seem so caring. I don't know. That's coming through. And that you're also perhaps losing a little bit of yourself to try and come off as being something different than who you are. So that's spirit bringing that to your attention, that you should be, that if you're not achieving the success that you want to, and you're doing the work, perhaps it's because it's not a true reflection of yourself. So take a look at that. Look into that. Think about that. Sit with it for a bit and see if that means anything to you. And then we have the 4th house, family roots, foundation. But it's the number 4 that's really, calling my attention here. And 2, like something being mirrored, because we've got Cancer here twice. So family roots, foundation. Let's see where this is taking us. I'm not quite sure. And these 2 just fell out. Let's see. Moon, void of course, disconnect, withdrawal, reception. And that's what I was feeling. I'm feeling like if you're not being true to who you really are, if you're not really showing your authentic face to the world, that might be why it's not connecting. It might be why the energy you're putting out is not connecting with who it needs to connect with. That this is important. This is important to be who you are, and to not let, maybe, I don't know, here's a silly little example. Like, maybe you're like, well, I'm not sharing anything personal about myself. And that'll, if I just have to come off as being this person who knows what they're talking about all the time, and not be like, well, I have no idea, what that means, right? Let's use me as an example. Oh, well, heck, I don't know what that means, right? How does it relate to you? I don't know, right? You are the one that is going to bring that to the table. So where am I going with this? I'm going with this as in, if I come off as acting like I know everything, no one's going to connect with me, and because it's not true. It's not a true statement. Especially in readings, if you're not authentically who you are, people won't resonate with your message, right? So if I want to present myself as being, let's say, like I know what I'm talking about, I know it all, or I don't have any flaws, or this is my professional appearance to the world. A lot of you aren't going to connect with me, I don't think. So I'm here. I'm my honest self here in front of you. And I think that's what brings people to the table with me. And so how does that reflect in your own life? How are you perhaps not showing your authentic self? Take a look at that. Sit with that and think about that and see if that might be the reason. That's what Spirit is saying here, that might be the reason why you're not being received. What you're doing is not being received well, because it's not a true reflection of you. So there's a disconnect. That was a lot of talking for that one card. Okay, anyway, we have fixed, action, momentum, dedication. And I feel like that is coming in as, we've got mutable, we've got fixed. That feels like it's, contradictory in a way, but not necessarily. You don't have to be one or the other. I just said that to someone else today. Like, it doesn't have to be one thing or the other. What creates, what brings success is being able to be flexible enough to remain dedicated, to take action on a set plan that you have, but being able to be flexible enough to adapt as needed. If things don't go the way that you think it's supposed to go, or that you planned for it to go, are you able to go with the flow and work with what you've been given, right? So, I can use myself as an example again. My computer completely died, and I have this old iPad that I'm using to try and, do my editing on, and it is a pain in the what. But, I have this plan of doing these 30 days, and so I'm working with what I have. And so that's sort of the message that's coming through today. And I hope that those examples made sense. And you can see how it applies in your own life, right? So think about that. Think about that for a bit. All right. So we were talking about timelines, right? So, but Spirit wanted to come in and talk about a few other things. Okay. There's one other card that was left on the table: opposition, resistance, struggle, and polarity. And that really fits in well with this message, where if you feel like it's one or the other, this way or the highway, you might not ever move in that respect, right? You may end up staying fixed if you don't have the adaptability and the flexibility, the versatility to deal with any resistance on your path. And that's for a lot of things in life, not just, trying to be successful in your career, especially in a relationship. That's to be successful, to have a successful relationship. You need to grow. You need to transform in ways that maybe you never thought you'd have to. It's good to be fixed in who you are and your understanding of who you are, and your belief in your self-worth. But you also have to learn to compromise and be versatile and adapt to the other person in the relationship. That's interesting. Yeah, that's actually, for some of you, the whole relationship thing is quite important too. But again, this can be these are messages that can deal with a lot of things in life, right? A lot of the things that we deal with in life. All right, let's see. What else do you have for us, Spirit? What else would you like to share with us today? What would you like to share with us, Spirit? Not these cards. That's what they said. They don't want to share these cards. I'm going with this. All right. something broader. They wanted to, Spirit wants to talk about something more broad than what those cards would have brought out. And so we have Wander. I think this has to do with feeling like things aren't moving. You kind of just feel like you're wandering around and nothing's happening. And the message with this is that you wander to learn. That's what I just heard that. You wander to learn. You wander to learn about yourself. You wander to learn about life. You wander to learn about the energies that affect you and don't affect you. You wander to find the things that maybe you wouldn't have been curious about previously unless you experienced certain things. You wander to find the doors that are open to you. And in wandering, you bring wonder to your life. W-O-N-D-E-R. You bring the wonder into your life. Yeah. Wow. That's a beautiful message. I think that's a beautiful message. And if you look at lack of movement in that way, or like, why does it feel like I'm so, I know another card in this deck says adrift. Why do I feel like I'm adrift? I have no anchor, things aren't, like, I don't know where life is pulling me. Spirit is saying, it's really drawing my eye to this white moth here, which to me is signifying the unseen, but signifying the unseen in a way that, not like, oh, spirits and stuff like that necessarily. For some of you, perhaps, yes, but signifying the unseen things that you weren't aware of previously, that you may not have ever gone down a certain path if you hadn't wandered around first and been like, oh, hey, what's around that river bend, or what's over that hill? And then you followed, that sense of wonder. You wandered with that sense of wonder. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, I'm being called to the charm bowl. So let's see. What can we get to add to this message, Spirit? I have love, and I heard eternal love, but I also feel like eternal love of self. I think but also for some of you, it's lasting relationships that came through. Lasting relationships. Why, or maybe relationships that last a while but don't get you to where you think a successful relationship is. And what just came through is that, what is your idea of a successful relationship? How did you come to that ideal? That's important. How did you come to that ideal? Was it through the media? Was it through your upbringing? Was it through what society says is a successful relationship? That's an important message for some of you, to revisit what success means, especially in longer relationships, or relationships that have lasted, I'm hearing decades. And I think passion changes over time. That needs to be said. People transform over time. Relationships transform over time. And going with that flow, understanding that, recognizing, changing emotions, changing roles, changing ways of seeing a successful relationship, if you want to use that word. I want to say lasting, because what is success, right? I mean, everybody defines it differently. And so Spirit says, think about that. If this is the question that you came to in this reading, with, what is success to you? And how do the other people that are a part of this relationship, for those of you that are here about a relationship, how does the other person define success? And how do you find compromise between these two ideas of success? That's something important. And I feel like some of you are writers, authors, and that's a book that you might want to, or a topic that you might want to touch on with your book or a book. Think about that. Think about that a bit. And then as I'm looking in here, I'm seeing this key. I'm hearing the key to success. The key to success is understanding how you define it and why you define it in that way. All right, let's get a few more cards. Let's see, we don't have any tarot cards out yet, so let's pull some tarot cards. I'm actually gonna pull from this deck, I think. It needs to be, I feel like there needs to be a little bit of magic coming out today, and here we go. So we have the Hermit, and that speaks to, I think, taking the time to understand your definition of things, right? How you see things. We have the Three of Wands. This feels, you know, the Three of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, right, is you're waiting for, you know, your ships to come in. Here I feel like it's more like the Hermit card, where you are contemplating within yourself, your understanding. I feel like this is an understanding of self card in this context of this reading, where you're letting things go, you're releasing things out, you're taking the time to understand, you know, who you are and what you're doing here. And then we have the Seven of Wands. And then I feel like this is action. It's like taking this time to really understand what you're doing, why you're doing, especially the why, right? We talked about the why. And then taking action with it at that point. Taking action with the insight that you've gained. All right. Well, we're over 20 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending this time with me. If you like the reading, please like, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Enable notifications and you'll be notified when the next reading comes out, which will be, since this is day 12, so day 13 will be next. Alrighty, and I think that one might be a pick a card also. So I look forward to seeing you and having you here at the table with me again. Thanks again. Bye-bye.